I feel like everyone's fighting for humanity right now as far as humanizing their brands. And I feel like there's a big opportunity to really look at that unique ability and work out what it is and really go there and make sure that you're not taking on too much and simplifying what you're doing.
Hi there, welcome back to my Stories of Scale podcast, hosted by me, Jonathan Herps. In the podcast, I chat with business owners and CEOs of scaling companies. It centers around their entrepreneurial journey so far and their aspirations for their companies and entrepreneurs and themselves. Today, I'm speaking to Heather Porter, who's founder of Website Love. She's also an educator for Meta, of which there's only four in Australia, and an educator trainer at the University of Sydney. Hi, Heather.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
It is my pleasure. I'm looking forward to our chat. Listen, we might just jump straight in if that's okay. Uh,
Please.
what's the story behind you and your business, and what got you fired up to start it, and what problem were you looking to solve?
Great question. I actually started my business out of necessity. So I used to work for speakers like Tony Robbins, lots of different speakers in the business, personal development space. And I was working with one of them, and his business completely changed overnight. So I found myself not having a quote unquote paycheck. And around that time, it was right around the time Facebook was up and coming, and I was doing some marketing for him. And suddenly I'm like, God, what am I going to do? I have literally had to put food on my table, and my partner at the time was just laid off from work. It was one of those situations. So I used my skill set of building marketing for this particular speaker I was with, and I just put a call out. I said, "Hey, does anyone need help with Facebook, this new thing called Facebook, or building membership sites? I'm your girl." And it happened literally out of necessity. And I fell into the space of digital marketing back in 2008. Hit hard by the concept of suddenly I'm building business models and systems for the one to many. So literally speakers, educators that wanted to reach more than just one person at the time. I became quite caught up in, wow, this whole online marketing thing can really help businesses grow with that one to many model.
Great. Tell me a bit. So, what does the business do now?
So we are an agency. So basically my first business was a digital agency that stopped, and we probably can get into that later. But my latest agency, Website Love, we are websites, we're social media marketing, social media ads, Google ads. So essentially anything you need digitally to grow your business. So I'm still in the same laneway. It's just that tools and techniques and things have changed over the years.
Yes, and look at AI now.
Oh, yeah.
So, can you tell me a bit about being one of the four trainers for Meta?
Yeah, absolutely. So Meta, about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, they were going around doing outreach and training SMEs around Australia and New Zealand, and they were sending their employees to do the training. And they'd get business owners that would show up to do the training and say, "What budget would you spend on ads? And how would you know if it's a success?" And being an employee for Meta, the employee would say, "That's a great question. I don't know." But honestly, they could only give so much advice being an employee. So they started this new trainer program where they auditioned many people like myself around Australia to who have been on the tools, so to speak, and using meta advertising and ads and social media, organic marketing for years and years. And they auditioned us to basically train on behalf of them, but through the filters or the wisdom of being a business owner ourselves. And so I essentially went through an audition process. That's how I got the role, so to speak. And I've been doing it just off and on ever since, which has been great.
Fabulous. So, if we can jump into some sort of more businessy type questions.
Please.
Been an entrepreneur, business owner now for a significant part of a period of time.
Yeah, I have.
To avoid running yourself into the ground, what two to three things would you focus on?
So there's two things that are non-negotiables for me. Basically, one is creating good systems, but
Mhm.
not just creating them, always reevaluating them. I literally, as I do things every day, I've just gotten in the mindset of, okay, could this be a system? Who could I give it to? And how do we then make it into a system? And then every year, every 6 months, let's reevaluate. And when I say system, it's anything from automations and CRMs or to Google Docs or training tools or Loom videos, however you do your training. But that's huge for me because I used to not do that, Jonathan, and I would literally just be doing the same thing over and over again. And then I would forget what I even told my team to do. So, systems, important. And then taking time to really focus on what I like to do, especially as my business changes and grows. I take time to go, do I like doing this particular part of the business? Is it in my zone of genius? And if it is, I actually hang on to it. And for anything else, systems and team, right? Delegate it, get it off my plate as fast as I possibly can. And the last thing in that, which I guess helps me grow my business, is I've really mastered communication. That's been everything, probably even more than systems. Really understanding how to talk to my team, how to listen to my team, and how to understand if they have no idea what the hell I just told them and they still nod their head and go, yeah, no worries, Heather, I'll do that. The being an art, learning the art of good communication has been probably really important for me in amongst all of that.
That's interesting, Heather, because I've experienced your systems. I met Heather for the viewers. Heather's team reached out to me to interview me on her podcast. And I
Yeah.
liked Heather so much and what she was saying to me that I then reciprocated. And it's a really interesting thing. I talk about, I forgot the term you use, but I use the term unique ability. The things that I love doing and the things I'm really good at that I don't let go. So, for instance, doing this podcast,
Yeah.
one of those things, doing my webinars, coaching my clients, they're my unique ability, the things I love and the things I won't let go.
Yeah.
Just before we started the conversation here, I said to her, we're going to go through certain questions. And she said, oh, yeah, I got the email about that. It reminded me 15 minutes ago. Questions are. And I'm the same. I know with Heather, literally the whole getting people ready to go on her podcast and the whole production afterwards has been outsourced to her team. And the same.
Yeah.
And we're both focused on what we love doing, which is actually the conversation.
Spot on. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
And I got the results of my podcast from Heather last week, and I've got to say, it's a really good production. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, if you could go back 12 months from 12 months ago, what's one thing you'd do differently and why?
I would probably stop building things, quote unquote, the right way. I feel like it's funny because I'm in the space of digital marketing, and in that space, there's so much noise. There's so much comparisonitis. There's always a new book, a new podcast, a new concept, a new tool, AI. And I think we as business owners can be prone to jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, we should try this or we should be doing this.
Shiny object, yeah.
And over the last year, it's been more of focusing on actually, I don't need all of that. Ultimately, pay more attention to what fuels my soul, what supports my team, what my clients want, and stop doing things what other people are saying to do and just focus on what's working for me and tweak and measure and benchmark against those things.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
Thank you.
What's one lesson as a business owner that you've learned that completely changed the way you operate?
This will probably come back to, I think, probably communication. Again, I've said that earlier. Communicate really simply. When I teach at the University of Sydney's Centre for Continuing Education, digital marketing, some of the classes are advanced digital marketing, and I'll get corporates and head of comms and all sorts of interesting people through. And I always ask the question to them, and I'll say, I'm sure you get reports from your agencies or your teams that are trying to show you what's happening in your marketing. Be honest with me. Do you understand what you're looking at? And when they really get honest, they're like, no, and I feel stupid asking the questions. We're talking very educated individuals in high jobs or big businesses. And so, one thing through the years of just talking to my clients and talking to people like this is communicate way more simply, like almost, I don't want to say dumbing it down, but
I think that's
actually
I think that's probably quite spot on.
do it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Make no assumptions that anyone you've just spoken to, teams and clients, actually even understand what you just said, because they might be nodding and have no idea what was actually being said in that conversation. So, yeah, I guess it's just communicate simply would be my answer to that.
The whole old KISS principle
You got it.
makes enormous sense.
That's it.
Changing topic a little bit, who's given you the best piece of advice in your life or business, and
Oh,
what was it?
ah, I love this question so much because it's a no-brainer for me. So I used to work for speaker Tony Robbins, the number one world's, I guess he calls himself an inspirational speaker, back when I lived in the States. And I was I was like 24, 25 when I started with him. So I was right in that sort of grab life by its horns and just get excited about things I had no idea who the guy was. I was the only employee in the history of the company, apparently, that had no idea who he was before I started. And I remember my first week there when they're like, "You're going to meet your boss, Tony Robbins." I'm like, "Cool, great, let's do this." And he was sitting around, I think it was at the board table in his place in La Jolla in California. And he started talking about one of his quotes, which is, "Whatever happens, take responsibility." And it was almost like this incredible aha moment because I was like, "Oh God, that's heavy. Really? Like everything that I do is up to me." Okay. And it was a profound moment for me. And ever since then, I mean, it's led me to Australia from the States. It's helped me open my own businesses. It's helped me look at really painful phases in the growth of my business, personal life. And I've sat back and gone, no, hold on a second. I've got to take responsibility for this situation and work through it. However I want to be next, I've got to take responsibility and work through that rather than blame the world and the people around me. So it's been a big thing that I've carried with me through my whole life so far.
Interesting, thank you. It's interesting, Tony Robbins, bigger than life. As if you've ever seen Tony Robbins, he's quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
A lot of Australians, with our attitude to life, look down our nose a bit at these American. In his case, I'm not your guru. One thing he's written a couple of books with a couple of experts in the last couple of
Yeah.
years. One is on money and one
Yeah.
is on health, and they are both absolutely, in my view, must reads. And this bigger than life character has all the money that's been earned from these books. He's donated, and I think he's now fed over 1 million people in poverty in America. It's quite an extraordinary story. It's worth having a look at.
Thank you for
It's
bringing that up.
he's
Yeah.
not just this huge personality, he's someone who really gives back as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that's part of people's purpose. I'm a member of, or my business is a member of the 1% pledge. We will give minimum 1% of our revenue, time, etc., back to charities or organizations in need or people in need. And it's a really, that's part of one of the things I picked up from Tony Robbins, as it turns out.
Mm. I love that. Thank you.
No, thank you. Let's talk about failures,
Yes.
or really big challenges. Can you share a time when you failed or had a big challenge and what you took away from it?
So the first business I mentioned to you, the one I fell into when I left running these big seminars for people, it I started with a business partner. I had to put food on the table. I didn't give it much thought. I didn't think, are we going to complement each other? Is this
Mhm.
the best path forward? We grew really fast. So we were also an agency. We suddenly had a team of 30 overseas. We chose the Philippines, and it became this monstrous beast that was unwieldy and eventually imploded on itself because the quality that we delivered went downhill. And I ultimately discovered that the business partner that I chose it was not a good partnership. So I remember I put everything that I had into that business and I ran it for 5 years with him. And it actually physically made me sick. I started having like heart palpitations and mental issues from lack of sleep. And I remember talking to a girlfriend of mine who's also an entrepreneur and has a couple of businesses. And I said to her, Linda, I failed. I really failed. And she said, hold on, hold on. What if you reframe that and look at this as just simply a massive stepping stone into what you don't want and what you do want in your next business? Everything you've done has made you who you are. So, since that conversation, failure to me is actually something like I guess I've reframed how I look at it. It's something that comes with the territory of business and life as you become more successful and you pursue bigger things. It's just part of it. It's part of it. It's not like a bad thing. It's just, hey, I expect failure as much as I expect success.
It's that's a really it's very healthy. But look, yeah, I'm 65.
Yeah.
I've been the CEO 5 times. I'm still making horrendous mistakes, and I'm a CEO.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. One of the things I reflect on every year is I go back into my diary. I learned this from Tim Ferriss.
Oh, yeah.
And in between Christmas and New Year, I go back and look at my diary for the year and see what I did and who I met with and review what didn't work or what I could have done better or how can I adapt this. It's a really good, something that I found really valuable. I've only been doing it for 3 years, but it's once again, mentors.
Such a great idea. And now,
Mm.
you know what, you're making me think because I have very detailed calendar, color coding and all of it. So I know where I do my personal time, etc. But I actually love that you said that because I'm going to take all that and export that somehow and put it probably into AI and say, hey, summarize this for me. Where do I spend most of my time?
Yeah, you'd be amazed.
I would be.
And it's as a CEO and a husband and as a parent, look,
Yeah,
this, if you look at any of my other podcasts, I've got a totally different background because I'm at home here with my son who's sick. And one of those great lessons I've learned along the way is to have a diary that can move and change and be adapted because life is always throwing things at you.
totally. Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's a perfect segue into my next question. Walk me through a typical day in your world. What habits do you have? What do you do? Yeah, how do you work as live as a CEO?
I used to be incredibly reactive. I want to give context and kind of comparison here. So I used to be incredibly reactive, and I would get up and in bed, I'd be on my phone reading emails, getting stressed out, starting the day feeling like crap. Now, no. As I'm getting older, health is becoming really important for me. I actually start every single day in the same way. I make myself a protein coffee, which is protein powder, iced coffee situation. And I sit there and I sip on that and I savor it. And while I'm doing
I'm
that,
not even
I'll
going to ask what it tastes like.
what's that?
I'm not even going to ask what it tastes like.
It's actually amazing. It's okay. It's amazing. So you start with protein powder that has no flavor, and then you put coffee like in it. So it's more of a iced coffee. Think iced coffee with a
Right.
kind
Okay.
of yummy.
Okay.
I love that question. So I do that because it sets my body in the right way. And while I'm doing that, I will listen to a podcast. So it depends on what I need in my life at that time. It might be a news podcast, it could be a business podcast, it could be a health and wellness podcast. It's wherever I'm feeling into it. I then think about my team. So I go in and think, what does my team need today to do their best? So I have project management tools and all the systems, and I'll just jump in and I'll make sure like where are they stuck? Do they need anything? Where are the bottlenecks with them? Because I need to make sure that they're functioning properly. And then from there, another thing that's a non-negotiable would be my fitness as well. So now I'm non-negotiable as well. It's either a gym visit to the gym and or a walk or jog around the neighborhood. So you would have asked me that question 5 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. I would have been very reactive. Now it's like everything's about my team and my fitness and my health, and then the other things flow around it.
Yeah, good. No, it's a great answer. Just out of interest, what project management tools do you use? What
Uh,
apps do you use in the business?
so Asana, which is just because you know how you start a system and you get stuck and then it's too hard to leave it. So Asana has always been mine, project management. Slack for texting back and forth because I'm traveling a lot too. I need to have like in the cloud easy texting. Those are my big two. And then I have other apps here and there for scheduling, repurposing content, podcasts. But those are my big two that I'm on all the time with my team every day, all day.
Excellent. So once again, a good segue to the next question. What's the number one trait of a great leadership team, do you think? And how do you make it happen?
Okay, so I was thinking about this because I was thinking over the years of working with teams and my team, and I actually think it's emotional maturity. And what I mean by that is the ability to communicate well, big theme for me, right? Communication,
Yeah.
staying curious, like genuinely stepping out of your ego and staying really curious about what your team is saying and like wanting to get to the crux of why they might be saying that. Listening without ego. Like for me, it's been really hard over the years to ask a question and just pause. Because some people need to think about stuff. They're not wired like me where I can't stop talking. So they're like, to sit back and pause. So I'll ask questions and I've gotten good at the art of the pause. I find that the pause is where the deepest communication happens. So also the ability to take criticism is really important and how to deliver it properly. So yeah, emotional maturity.
Great. Personal life. How do you keep it intact while leading and growing a business with people all over the place?
I have gotten good at listening to what I need, and I will take little moments off whenever I need them. So, if, for example, last week was an incredibly busy week for me, and I felt myself getting absolutely drained to the point where I couldn't think very clearly. I had brain fog happening at 1 p.m. in the day. And I thought I could try and push through this, or why don't I just move an appointment back to tomorrow and go sit outside in the sun? So I'm gotten good at listening to myself and taking moments off and also working to not feel guilty about those moments because obviously the work is going to be much better when I do that. And I'm very good with my team too. I'll say, have you taken a break? Don't stress yourself out. I asked for this 3 days for now. Don't have to work so hard to the end of the day. You need a break.
Mm.
So taking off moments are good. And also making social outings priorities become more important for me too. Being around people that don't know me as a professional. They just know me for Heather. And that's really important because for a long time, my whole social circle was either clients or people that knew me professionally. And I found that was difficult a hindrance to letting your hair down.
Do you, I think about this morning, do you plan time off?
I do. Yes, I do. So and that varies because I really wanted to always plan my Fridays off or my Friday afternoons off. And I felt by doing that, I let myself down because there's always going to be training or things that come up. So instead of doing that, I just block time out for each week. I live and breathe by my calendar to the point where you'll see my gym sessions in there, you'll see my social outings, and I'll on the Sunday look at my week ahead and go, all right, I don't have enough me time. I got to move things around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I shared with a new client an annual calendar this morning.
Oh
And
yeah.
I said, block in your 5 weeks holiday. And he went, what? I said, block it in. We're locking it in now. And he was
Yeah.
just so shocked that thinking a year ahead, and 5 weeks is a small number for me because I think all entrepreneurs need time away and time
Yeah.
to rejuvenate the brain. But it was like it's just something I do with clients every December. But this fellow was so shocked with that. My Lord, I've got to plan this way this far ahead.
You do, though, don't you?
Yeah,
Especially when you have a lot going on in your life. If you don't block it out, it's not going to happen. I find, at
well,
least.
that's
Yeah.
right. I mean, we won't even talk about the two 11-year-olds and school holidays.
Oh, no, school holidays. I've learned now, by the way, because my stepsons are older now in their 20s, but I've learned with clients, I'll say to them, do you have any younger kids? And because you understand the pain that they go through, especially if it's school holidays.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
tell me, my listeners love hearing about books, podcasts, tools, your resources that CEOs use. Anything you'd recommend?
So I'm always changing that all the time. But right now, I'm really into Alex Hermosi. So I'm liking his stuff right now. I'll tend to binge, get onto somebody, check their stuff out for a little while. Like him, my podcasts are always changing. I'm literally pulling up my phone to see what I'm listening to. I'm quite liking something called The Art of Uncomfortable Conversations. That's an interesting Australian one. Yeah, Uncomfortable Conversations is what it's called. Have you heard of it?
I use it. One of the things I do with developing leadership teams is every quarter. So at one level of my coaching, I have one-on-one CEO coaching. At the other is a leadership team coaching.
Yeah.
And every quarter we bring the leadership team together for a couple of days. And
Ah,
I start off with three of the uncomfortable questions. So I've got a list of about 5 pages of these uncomfortable questions. And because one of the big things about leadership teams is potentially an absence of trust. And if you dig down with some of these questions, it's amazing how much leadership individuals actually share. And all of a
ah,
sudden it builds a trust. Yeah, I have heard of it and use it. And I built I think it was
brilliant.
5 pages of questions just to make people feel uncomfortable.
Ah, ah.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Acquired is another one. They did a three-part series on Google, how it was founded and scaled. Fascinating. Each episode is like 4 hours.
Okay.
Acquired. So I change this a lot though, and I do that on purpose because I want to discover new things, and I don't. My time's packed and precious. And so I have a list of 20 podcasts I ideally like to listen to, but I bounce around. So I think Acquired, Uncomfortable Conversations, Alex Hermosi. And do you know what I actually really, it's a local Australian one as well. It's called The Squiz. It's a news podcast and their tagline's brilliant. It's a shortcut of being informed or staying informed. So they compile all the news that's happening in Australia and globally, and they share it and they do little like short versions of diving deep into certain topics. And yeah, it's my little rotation right now.
Okay. If you like Alex Hormozy, you
Yeah.
should follow a fellow called Sharan, Sharran.
Okay.
His surname is Srivatsaa. Srivatsaa. Sharan
Okay.
Srivatsa. Sharan is an American who did really well. He's launched $2 billion businesses now.
Okay.
But he's just accepted the role of president of Hormozi's business.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So Hormozi and his wife Layla, I think it is,
Lila.
they're extraordinary influencers
Yeah,
and
they are.
really good content. So, uh, for the listeners, Alex Hormozi did a book launch about 2 months ago, and it was $100 million book launch in a weekend. It was just
Incredible.
how to promote something. But Sharan is now the president of the business and has been for about 5 months, 6 months, and the business is called acquisition.com, taking
Oh, yeah.
acquisition.com to the absolute next level. So
Oh,
he's well worth following and he puts out a really good, pretty much a daily blog. He talks about the 5 a.m. club, which definitely is not me, but
not me
um,
either.
yeah, he puts something out every day. And normally the content, every couple of days is something that's really quite insightful.
Oh, I really appreciate that because I wasn't aware of him coming on board for acquisition.com, and I'm all about where Alex and that whole journey is happening. So thank you for
Yeah,
recommending
no,
him.
not at all.
Yeah.
So, last question. If you could leave business owners, entrepreneurs with one last piece of advice, what single action should they take right now?
Go and cut one thing in your business. Get rid of it. Whether it's an offer that's not working anymore, an obligation that you keep every week that's not serving you. What's something that I love simplifying things. I think that is the magic. I'm sure you would agree with this too when you're growing, especially in certain stages of your business. It's better to simplify and focus on your, what did you say? Your unique gift, essentially,
Yeah,
but
unique ability. Yeah.
your unique ability. Really hone in on what that is, especially now since there's AI and so much noise out there. I feel, and again, it's not just me feeling, but talking to people in around the world and at my courses and stuff. I feel like everyone's fighting for humanity right now as far as humanizing their brands. And I feel like there's a big opportunity to really look at that unique ability and work out what it is and really go there and make sure that you're not taking on too much and simplifying what you're doing.
That is a great piece of advice. And 131 CEO interviews, you're the only one that's given that advice.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I focus on in coaching. Never be doing more than 3 to 5 things at any one time. No more than 3 to 5 goals, 3 year goals, etc. It's about simplifying the whole, yeah, everything about you and your business and your life. So, yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, how do people find you? We'll obviously put details into the show notes.
Yeah,
People find you. Who's the right person to contact you?
brilliant. Good question. So the first you can find me, I'd say go to website love.com.au. There's a tab there in the menu. It says free resources. Click on it. There's really great, valuable information in that page. Lots of articles, podcasts, quizzes, downloads, master classes. So website love.com.au, free resources in the menu. That'd be a great place to, I guess, check me out online. You can probably search for me, Heather. Just go to Instagram, Heather Porter. That tends to be where I live as well. Outside of that, who do I work with? It's definitely service businesses that are in that space of wanting to get their brand out there. But my whole focus right now for next year, as we're talking about planning and where we're all headed, is as much as I really AI, I'm really taking a stand right now for human touch points, humanizing brands, community. So I'm really looking for businesses that have the same value as me and want to get closer to their customers as ever before rather than pull back and rely on automations. So service businesses growing that are wanting to humanize their brand and use digital marketing to do that.
Excellent, thank you. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
put a coaching point in there if I can, though. AI, everybody's talking about it.
I
You know,
know.
one of the things that is standing me out at the moment is because I'm using a lot of AI to
Mhm.
help my CEO clients accelerate what they do.
Yes.
Your point about humanizing those is a really interesting one because the problem is if you use AI to write a blog as an example, it stands out immediately. Just the M dash thing that they talk about. Like you can tell it's not written by a human. and it doesn't
Yes.
have the personality, doesn't have the quirks, doesn't have the six plumbers outside and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the hint for people with AI, and I think you'll probably agree with this, is it's only good for the middle 60%.
I love that.
So you need to think deeply for 20% of how you actually prompt it to help you do what you want it to do. And then that does the 60%. And then at the end, you've got to spend another 20% of the time making that real and human and executable within your business. So 20, that's my theory is 20, 60, 20. And it's all about humanizing what the AI is doing.
Oh, it's so true. And I know we're wrapping up, but I have to just piggyback off of that point.
Yeah, please.
I was just speaking for Meta a couple weeks ago in New Zealand, and I was talking to their head of product development for New Zealand. And we were just having a little conversation about AI, and he was saying, you know what? Everything's amazing with AI. However, and he brought it up too, you must focus on looking at what aha moments do you give your clients? What's uniquely you? And we've really got to hone in on those because when everyone can ask AI for a viral marketing hook,
Mm.
and when AI videos are, you get hire an AI model or just not hire, you're just using them on an app. He said it's the nuances. It's those human touch points that are everything for the future of where we're headed. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Take it a step further. There's
Yeah.
an AI app called HeyGen, which I've been looking at just recently, and it's a video automation app. So I was thinking, hey, why don't we take my blog history of 300 plus blogs I've done over the years, and get AI to come up with a replica of me. So
Yeah.
feed photos in, and it literally will be me.
Yeah.
Type in the blogs and let it go,
Yeah.
and just generate 356 plus videos. And it's fabulous. Very hard to tell the difference between Jonathan AI and Jonathan myself, except that it doesn't have the quirkiness. That's the best word I can use.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
Yeah.
me getting distracted and going off in a different direction. It doesn't have phenomenal technology.
Yeah.
And very few people would pick that it is in fact not me. But I've decided not to do that because, as I said, it doesn't have my quirkiness. It doesn't have the bits that go on. What was your terminology?
The little,
Sorry?
like the little nuances or the
No,
little,
no, yeah, getting back to personal humanity,
yeah.
that sort of area.
Yeah.
And when you're using AI to make people decisions, which a lot of us do, you've got to be really careful.
You very much do.
Let's end it on that one, Heather.
Absolutely.
Such a good conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks everyone for listening as well. It's lovely to have this chat with you.
Yeah, I look forward to catching up personally sometime very soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.